Today is Refinance Analyzer Part 2. What we're going to talk about today is Express setup for power users. So this is a very quick way for power users to create scenarios and try the Refinance Analyzer. Then we're going to get into something pretty complex, I find. It's future rate analysis. And it's talking about what if the renewal rate in 36 months is at a specific rate. I think the ambulance is flying by me right now. And last but not least, we'll talk about debt consolidation. And I'm gonna be able to show how we can turn a losing refi scenario and make it a winning scenario. Okay, so let's get started. Express setup. So for that, we will start the refi analyzer. We get into it. And as before, creating a new scenario right from the top, there's the hamburger button, tap on it, and then choose new scenario. And last time we did the step-by-step where we went from screen to screen, and it's great for doing any presentations. But today we're gonna do the express because by now you're power users. And actually, as a matter of fact, if possible, if you could follow along on the app with me, because there's a quiz somewhere in the middle, that way you can actually be able to solve the quiz. So let's do express and let's give it a name. Last time we did Bob, we're gonna do Bob again, and we're gonna give him a color. Let's do yellow. Okay. So for the scenario, we have the same scenario as we had before, which is Bob, and you simply enter these values in. Just tap on the fields and type in Bob's property value is $1 million. He's got $600,000 remaining balance, and we're going to pick a lender that he's currently with. I always like to pick one, CABC, and his current rate is 3.29. And it's a fixed. You just saw how the payments are being calculated for you, but of course you can override them. And this is $30.95 per month, which works out to be 23 years remaining AM. So that's already also calculated for you at the same time. Now the maturity date is March 8, 2025, which is exactly 36 months from now, exactly 3 years. So tap on the renewal rate. Now I find this a little bit of a complicated control. It's an iOS native control. It's supposed to be easy, but there's a few tricks with it. For example, if you want to change the month and the day, you just tap on this area right on top. And let's change it to March 2025. And now if you want to get back to the date itself, you have to collapse this section so you can get back to the date. So I found it a little bit confusing myself. And there's no done button. And I guess you just have to tap outside. There we go. So that's done. And you can see right away, based on the date I selected, the remaining term is calculated for me. Of course, I can go and update this myself. I can type in 35 and you can see the date is changed for me and vice versa. But let's set it to 36. Then we get down to the penalty section, and we're just going to estimate $20,000 for Bob. And of course, we have the roll-in penalty and fees enabled here by default. And this is just taking the $20,000 and adding it to the new mortgage. If clients hardly ever want to pay $20,000 cash, then of course you would uncheck that. You can further add in other items as well. You can add a discharge fee, a legal fees, appraisal fees. All those will be rolled into the new mortgage. But for the time being, I'm not going to add in any other debts or any other fees. And our new rate is 1.65. So we set that in. And something else I wanted to point out here is we currently have a little bug that by default it's variable, of course, but the compounding is not correctly set. So make sure your compounding is always correct. For example, and to do that, you just tap on this area right below the rate. So you can see the details. You can also see the term and the compounding. You can also, from here, when you are entering in rates at the same time, you can just use this menu right here on the toolbar, on the keyboard toolbar. So there's two ways of getting there. Make sure your compounding is set correctly. Okay, further to that, let's click on more and let's see. So by default, the power user express setup is set up to be 30-year amp. But if you don't want that, all you do is you match it. You match it with currently the client has. So I'm just going to tap match and it's going to set it to 23 years. And we're going to keep the same payments not enabled. Okay, so let's go. And instantly we get to see all our savings right on top. And we can see the break even month. We can see the new payment. All you do is tap. And you also can see the time difference. But because we didn't change the amortization or we didn't extend it, it's still the same. Okay, so that was your Express setup. Much faster than the screen by screen version of it. And we can literally generate a report and send it to Bob.